Thank you for choosing to watch this documentary. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. History remembers grand battles and powerful rulers. The tales of their conquests and reigns are etched in stone, celebrated in songs, and immortalized in art. These stories captivate our imagination, painting vivid pictures of heroism and power. Yet some of the most potent forces that shaped our world are silent, invisible, and often forgotten: plagues. These microscopic adversaries, unseen by the naked eye, have wielded a power far greater than any sword or scepter. These epidemics, sweeping through populations with devastating impact, have toppled empires, reshaped societies, and altered the course of human history. They have left scars on the landscape of human civilization, scars that tell stories of suffering, resilience, and transformation. This is the story of those forgotten plagues. The ones that lurk in the shadows of history, often overshadowed by more dramatic events, yet equally, if not more, influential in shaping the world we live in today. We delve into the shadows of the past, unearthing tales of resilience, adaptation, and the enduring power of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. These stories are not just about death and despair, but also about survival and the indomitable will to overcome. From the Antonine Plague that ravaged ancient Rome, decimating its population and weakening its military might, to the Justinianic Plague that crippled the Byzantine Empire, bringing its golden age to a grinding halt, and the Third Cholera Pandemic that swept across the globe, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake, we will uncover their devastating effects. These plagues did not just kill, they changed the very fabric of societies, influencing everything from public health policies to urban planning. Join us as we explore not just the science behind these outbreaks, but also the human stories. Stories of families torn apart, communities brought to their knees, and the relentless quest for understanding and control. We will examine how societies crumbled and rebuilt, how they adapted to new realities and emerged stronger, albeit changed, how faith was tested and redefined as people sought answers and solace in the face of overwhelming odds, and how these events continue to resonate today. The echoes of these plagues can still be felt, reminding us of our vulnerability and our resilience. The past, as they say, is never truly past, especially when it holds the key to understanding our present and shaping a healthier future. By studying these forgotten plagues, we gain insights that are crucial for facing the challenges of today and tomorrow. Let us begin our journey into the heart of these forgotten plagues, exploring their origins, their impacts, and their enduring legacies, and uncover their lasting impact on the world we know today. Through this exploration, we hope to not only remember the past, but also to learn from it, ensuring a better, more prepared future for all. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The year is 165 CE. The Roman Empire, at the zenith of its power, seemed invincible. Yet, a silent enemy emerged from the east, hitching a ride along the bustling trade routes. This was no invading army, but something far more insidious: the Antonine Plague.
Thought to be smallpox or measles, the Antonine Plague swept through the Roman Empire with terrifying speed. Symptoms were gruesome: fever, pustules, diarrhea, and ultimately, for many, death. The Roman historian Dio Cassius described the plague as a great pestilence that left the houses full of the dead and the streets full of them.
The impact of the Antonine Plague on the Roman army was particularly devastating. With soldiers falling ill and dying by the thousands, the empire's defenses weakened, leaving it vulnerable to external threats. The plague also struck a blow to the Roman economy. Trade and agriculture were disrupted as fear and illness spread, leading to widespread social unrest. The Antonine Plague raged for almost 15 years, leaving an indelible mark on the Roman Empire. It exposed the vulnerability of even the mightiest empires to unseen enemies. The Antonine Plague, though largely forgotten, echoed through Roman society long after the final death rattle subsided. The empire, weakened and demoralized, found itself grappling with a new reality.
One of the most significant impacts was the psychological blow. The Antonine Plague shattered the image of Roman invincibility. The gods, once thought to protect their chosen people, seemed to have abandoned them. This led to a rise in religious skepticism and a search for new faiths that could offer solace and explanation in the face of such devastating loss.
The plague also had profound effects on Roman art and literature. Images of death and decay became more common, reflecting the collective trauma experienced by the population. The Antonine Plague served as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the capricious nature of fate. The Antonine Plague, a stark reminder of the power of invisible enemies, forever changed the course of Roman history. It serves as a testament to the enduring impact of plagues, shaping not only the physical landscape but also the cultural and psychological fabric of civilizations.
The Justinianic Plague, the Byzantine Empire's struggle, centuries after the Antonine Plague, as the Roman Empire fractured and reformed, a new power emerged in the East, the Byzantine Empire. This empire, with its capital in the magnificent city of Constantinople, sought to revive the glory of Rome while forging its own unique identity. The Byzantine Empire became a beacon of culture, art, and military prowess, standing as a formidable force in the medieval world.
Under the reign of Emperor Justinian I, Constantinople flourished as a center of trade, culture, and Christianity. The city was a melting pot of different cultures and ideas, bustling with merchants, scholars, and artisans. Justinian's ambitious building projects, including the Hagia Sophia, symbolized the empire's wealth and sophistication. The empire's influence extended across the Mediterranean, and its economy thrived on the bustling trade routes that connected east and west. But this golden age was not destined to last. Despite its grandeur, the empire faced numerous challenges, both internal and external. Political intrigue, economic pressures, and constant threats from neighboring powers loomed over the Byzantine state. Yet, the most devastating blow came from an unexpected source, a deadly plague that would change the course of history.
In 541 CE, a new plague, even more devastating than its predecessor, arrived on the shores of the Byzantine Empire. This plague, known as the Justinianic Plague, spread rapidly, causing widespread panic and chaos. The disease did not discriminate, affecting people from all walks of life, from the poorest peasants to the highest echelons of society. The Justinianic Plague, also believed to be caused by the bubonic plague, arrived in Constantinople on grain ships from Egypt. These ships, essential for feeding the city's population, inadvertently became carriers of death. The plague spread through the crowded streets and markets, finding fertile ground in the densely populated urban environment.
The city, densely populated and reliant on trade, proved the perfect breeding ground for the disease. The plague spread like wildfire, with the city's inhabitants having little understanding of how to combat it. The bustling markets and busy ports, once symbols of prosperity, now became centers of contagion. The Byzantine historian Procopius, who witnessed the horrors firsthand, described the plague as a pestilence by which the whole human race came near to being annihilated. His accounts provide a chilling glimpse into the fear and despair that gripped the city. Procopius's writings serve as a crucial historical record, capturing the scale and impact of the catastrophe.
The symptoms were horrific: swollen lymph nodes, fever, chills, and excruciating pain. Victims suffered immensely, with many succumbing to the disease within days of showing symptoms. The rapid progression and high mortality rate of the plague left little hope for recovery, and a gruesome blackening of the skin that gave the plague its morbid moniker, the Black Death. This terrifying transformation of the body was a visible sign of the disease's deadly grip, spreading fear and hopelessness among the population.
The Byzantine government, overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the outbreak, struggled to cope. Hospitals overflowed, mass graves were dug, and the usual social order broke down. The infrastructure of the city, already strained, was pushed to its limits as the death toll rose. And bodies lay rotting in the streets. The sight of the dead and dying became a common grim reality. The once vibrant city of Constantinople was transformed into a place of mourning and despair.
Just as it had in Rome centuries earlier, the plague ravaged the Byzantine army, crippling its ability to defend the empire. Soldiers who were essential for the protection and expansion of the empire fell victim to the disease in large numbers. The military, once a symbol of strength, was now a shadow of its former self. Justinian's ambitious plans for reconquering lost Roman territories were dashed as his armies were decimated by the disease. The emperor's vision of a restored Roman Empire was thwarted by the relentless spread of the plague, which left the empire vulnerable to external threats and internal strife. The empire, weakened and vulnerable, was forced to confront its own mortality. The Justinianic Plague marked a turning point in Byzantine history, highlighting the fragility of even the most powerful empires in the face of nature's wrath. The legacy of the plague would linger for centuries, a stark reminder of the empire's struggle and resilience.
Shaping the medieval world. The Justinianic Plague, like a wildfire, consumed the Byzantine Empire and spread beyond its borders, leaving a trail of devastation across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. This pandemic, named after the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I, who reigned during its initial outbreak, was one of the deadliest in human history. It decimated populations, disrupted economies, and altered the very fabric of societies it touched.
It raged for over 2 centuries in waves of varying intensity, forever altering the course of history. Each resurgence brought renewed fear and suffering, as communities struggled to cope with the relentless onslaught of disease. The plague's persistence meant that no generation was left untouched, and its effects rippled through time, influencing events and decisions long after the initial outbreaks had subsided. One of the most significant impacts of the Justinianic Plague was the demographic shift it triggered. Entire regions saw their populations drastically reduced, leading to abandoned villages and a scarcity of labor. This demographic upheaval had far-reaching consequences, affecting everything from agricultural production to military recruitment.
With millions dead, labor shortages crippled agriculture and trade. Fields lay fallow, and markets once bustling with activity became eerily quiet. The interconnectedness of medieval economies meant that the collapse of one sector had cascading effects on others, leading to widespread economic instability. Cities, once vibrant centers of commerce and culture, shrank as people fled to the countryside seeking safety and sustenance. Urban areas, which had been hubs of innovation and progress, became shadows of their former selves. The mass exodus to rural areas also led to the spread of the plague to previously unaffected regions, exacerbating the crisis. This demographic collapse had a profound impact on the social and economic structures of the medieval world. The feudal system, which relied heavily on a stable and abundant peasant population, was particularly hard hit. Lords found themselves with fewer serfs to work their lands, leading to a decline in their economic power and influence.
The plague also had a profound impact on religious beliefs. As people sought answers to the seemingly inexplicable suffering, the Church's role as a spiritual and moral authority was both challenged and reinforced. Some saw the plague as divine punishment, while others questioned the Church's ability to protect and intercede on their behalf. The sheer scale of death and suffering led many to question their faith. Traditional religious practices and rituals were upended, as mass burials became common, and the usual rites of mourning were often abandoned in the face of overwhelming loss. This crisis of faith had long-lasting effects on the religious landscape of medieval Europe. Some turned to fanaticism, seeking explanations and scapegoats for the divine wrath they believed had been unleashed upon them. This often led to the persecution of minority groups who were blamed for the calamities befalling society. Religious processions and acts of penance became more common, as people sought to appease what they believed to be an angry deity.
This period of upheaval and uncertainty contributed to the growth of new religious movements and the strengthening of existing ones. The search for meaning and solace in the face of such widespread devastation led to a flourishing of religious thought and practice. New sects emerged and existing religious institutions adapted to meet the changing needs of their followers. The Justinianic Plague, a defining moment in early medieval history, left an indelible mark on the world. Its legacy can be seen in the demographic, economic, and religious transformations that it set in motion. The plague's impact was felt not just in the immediate aftermath but for centuries to come, shaping the course of history in ways that are still being understood today.
It reshaped demographics, influenced religious beliefs, and ultimately paved the way for the emergence of new social and political orders in the centuries that followed. The Justinianic Plague serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of human societies in the face of nature's unpredictability, and its story is a testament to the resilience and adaptability of the human spirit. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more informative documentaries. Let us continue to explore the wonders and challenges of our world together.